Today, we have another classic example of FAFO. Okay, this woman really effed around and found out. This is the quintessential FAFO. So this video went ultra mega viral on X. It's got 10 million plus views in a few hours. This Irish protester has repeatedly been punched in the face as she was protesting against the unfair killing of journalists in Gaza, which of course most people would stand behind, but this is the kind of thing that these left woke people want. They want this sort of censorship. They don't want any freedom of speech. They're communist, they're Marxist. They hate our freedoms in the Western world, and they don't understand that because the people on the right are fighting for freedoms of speech and they're trying to bring in hate speech laws, this is what is going to eventually end up happening to them because they hate freedom of speech. Let's watch this video and see exactly what happens. Damn, she has guts. I'll give her that, guys. I'll give her props for that because, she got first hit with the left jab straight to the face, and then got hit with that right hook to the face. I mean, she took some pretty big shots there, from police wearing gloves, wearing these padded gloves. Fair enough, standing up for what she believes in. But like I said before, this is the thing that the left want. They want this communist Marxist society where you're not allowed to speak out against anything. Whereas us on the right, we want freedom of speech so you can protest freely. And, the German police, of course, are extremely heavy-handed. They're actually, trained abroad as well. I believe they train the Canadian police. And I think the US police have a similar training, militaristic style training to the German police. So it's a crazy, heavy-handed, extremely heavy-handed form of arrests. Like, it's very heavy-handed. So crazy stuff right there. But I just wanted to highlight that one because I did see that go ultra mega viral. And, it's crazy to see that people are getting their sort of karma here because, of course, she's speaking for something that's, of course, good. You don't want to see innocent journalists getting killed. Absolutely not. But at the same time, guys, these people don't understand. This is what happens when you're on the left, when you're this woke, Marxist, communist left, So the Irish Independent, the mainstream media, the dead mainstream media, ran a news article about this, of course, yesterday, as this is breaking news from the 29th of August, Friday, 2025. And it says that they were protesting the deliberate killing of journalists, and the incident took place on Thursday. So actually, it was an Instagram page, Kitty O'Brien clutching her nose before lifting her bloodied hands to German police while shouting, "Their blood is on your hands." So crazy, crazy news story. Not sure exactly the behind the scenes of this. She might have been causing a ruckus as well. You don't know, guys. Like, I think it might even be illegal, same in the UK, to actually protest these big rallies. This sort of, I think it's action for some action for some country. I believe it is illegal, so that's why she went to jail. This wasn't just done for no reason, guys. The police don't just hit you in the face and arrest you for no reason. She was probably resisting arrest. And she was probably also doing something illegal. I think that protesting for certain countries and this kind of thing, I think is illegal. So yeah, crazy, guys, crazy stuff. And I would never side with left-wing people or liberal people. But, this is the karma that they are receiving, guys, because years and years of trying to take freedom of speech away from us. We have influencers in Ireland trying to take freedom of speech away from us, trying to implement hate speech laws. The most woke, the most censored party in the entire country, the most restricting party in the entire country, the Social Democrats, came out yesterday and said Taoiseach must act after German police viciously beat Irish activists. A shocking video circulating on social media shows German police at a Gaza protest in Berlin repeatedly punching a peaceful Irish activist in the face. Like I said before, guys, we don't know the backstory She might have been peaceful, she might not have been. She might have been doing something illegal, she might have been resisting arrest. They obviously quickly arrested her. She might have hit somebody. We just see a snapshot on social media and just take her side, that the whole internet just took her side. But of course, there is a nuance there, agreeing with the actual statement, but then the person who's putting the statement out is obviously not, is not in an entire sense for freedom of speech, guys. They're not for helping people in its total. Like, we don't know as well the nuance to the conversation. Like, a lot of these people support Hamas, and they shouldn't be supporting Hamas. This is a completely different, nuanced conversation that we're having here. That's why I don't really say Gaza too much, because there's a huge difference between, people supporting a country's right for freedom and to have their own rights and not get bombed and children killed. But also these people are supporting terrorist groups, Al-Qaeda fractions, Al-Shabaab, this is ISIS. This is terrorist fractions that are popping up, guys, in the world, in certain countries. So obviously that is not good, and we are completely against that. The next breaking news story, of course, is from RTE, the scumbag media of Ireland. And it says Enoch Burke is to be jailed once again. Okay, the school, the principal, the head of the school department seeks a court order to actually jail Enoch Burke once again. Now, this lad has been jailed for 500 days plus. Like, he's been prosecuted to the utmost, okay, for not believing in them, they pronouns. Okay, that's what this entire thing is about, guys. If you believe in these woke, crazy pronouns, them, they, zer, them, these weird, strange, made-up language words, then you are against freedom of speech. Because if you believe in that stuff and you believe that people, should be called these words, you are against freedom of speech. And what really made me think about this news article is this, guys. When I was reading through this article, I came across a certain paragraph here, and it says this. And it got me thinking about this section, about how elderly people, like people in their, 70s and 80s, and just, the older population of Ireland, would internalize this message, because they must be scratching their head thinking, what the hell is going on? And this is the first time I've actually heard RT talk about the actual nuance of the conversation. Okay, they normally leave out this stuff. So hopefully my channel is pushing the mainstream media to actually report the news and not just create their news. Okay, because they create the news so they can push narratives. Okay, I want them to report the news. So it says here, he had argued that is unlawful and the result of his opposition to extent of transgender rights following a direction by the school to call a former student by the using they pronoun. The key words there, a former student. So the student's not even in the school anymore. Like I said yesterday, is the student even in the school anymore? No. But the former student is using they pronouns. Completely absurd, completely ridiculous. Who the hell knows who this student is? This student will never be, exposed to the world of who they were, even over the age of 18, okay? Because they should be, guys, okay? If they're getting a teacher like this fired, they should be, after 18 years old, their name and their picture should be plastered everywhere on the internet. Because if they're putting a guy like this in jail for 500 days, I want to know who is, who we are taking orders from now, who we are directing the judge to take orders from. Because this 15-year-old obviously had more rights than the teacher. Could you imagine? The stupid 14, 15-year-olds in the classroom. When I was 14, 15, I was retarded. And you're taking advice and you're taking a lecture from the 14, 15-year-old. It's disgusting, guys. They should have no say in anything. The only rights they should have is the right to privacy and not be harmed. That's it, guys. Every other right, listening to what the teacher says, should be listened to, about religion, Christ is King, Ireland being a Christian country. Like, they should be listening to all these things. Irish history, the oppression by the British government for 800 years, why freedom of speech is so great in Ireland, and it's being thrown away. Not the them, they pronouns. It's like it's almost swapped now. Now we're listening to the 14-year-old. I'm they, What sort of insanity is this? This is an insane world, guys. Okay, and to finish off, I can't even take the bus anymore, guys. Here we have Dr. Ribena Berry Great name. It says, some days for a few moments, the world feels normal, nice and relaxed. Then you step outside and see hordes of Punjabi and other non-native kids being taken to school on a bus like this to remind you of how unbelievably sinister our country has become. And this is all done on purpose. They have the LGTB flag on this bus. I can't even take the bus anymore, guys. Okay? Because then I'll be a gay lord. I can't even take the bus anymore because it's gay to take the bus now. That's why I started driving at 17 years old, because I knew taking the bus was gay. Okay, and just overall, the bus experience is dog shit. Not only do you have piss streaming down the aisles from people taking a piss on the bus, and homeless people flipping sleeping on the back of the bus, smelling up the bus, and you have flipping loud foreigners on their phones, and you have flipping just mayhem. You now also have a gay bus. Okay, if I wasn't pushed away from the bus enough, okay, by all the crazy people, the teenagers fighting each other with screwdrivers, the loud people on their phones watching movies, dancing, drinking, people going crazy, the bus is a flipping nightmare. We also now have a gay bus. And these communists hate Ireland. You know, they have LGTB flags everywhere. Everywhere I go in Galway, the most woke city in the whole flipping country, they have LGTB. How about putting an Irish flag on the bus? You know, slapping a big tricolour on the side of the bus. How about that? Huh? Or putting one on the side of your car, like the patriotic Americans do in the USA. You know, how about we have some patriotism? Put a big Irish flag on the window of the bus. You know, they would never do that though, guys, ever. Because they don't want you to even know what country you're living in anymore. It's a globalist melting shit pot. Remember we used to have a naked bus somewhere in the Republic of Ireland? I don't remember exactly where it was, but we had this exhibitionist kind of naked bus. I almost preferred that, guys. Okay? At least it was sort of somewhat pushing, you know, to be confident in yourself, I suppose. This is just pushing degeneracy, guys. Like, nobody cares if you're flipping gay or anything, okay? Everybody has the same equal rights. There's rights for everybody in this country. We don't need LGTB flags on the bus, okay? And coming back to the original point, because life is full circle, the woman that got punched in the face, you know, she wants to bring all these people in from the Middle East and from Africa and from Latin America and from South Asia, you know, Bangladesh and India. These people have no rights for LGTB people. They hate feminism. They have no rights for women or anyone, guys. Okay? In these countries, anywhere outside of Western Europe and North America and Australia, I suppose, there's no rights for anybody. Everybody in the rest of the world that I talk to are the most racist, anti-transgender people in the world, guys. It's only in Europe, people like myself and other people, you know, that are actually open to hearing about different, you know, sexual preferences and different ideologies. Plain and simple. You're hurting yourself with this. You know, all they're doing is hurting themselves. You know, it's absolutely crazy. I just don't understand the mental block. You know, these people throw people off buildings and cliffs if they're sexually identify as anything else. And they want to bring in all these people. Complete clown show. Let me know what you guys think. I love you all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member. We have 21 members, guys. Okay, it's only €3 per month. You actually get the news reported to you guys how you want it. Not from the mainstream news, because the mainstream news is dead. We know that by now. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.